It all happened in, what, less than 2 seconds? Just one bullet.
Mm-hmm.
But that single shot in the freezing cold of a Minneapolis morning, it didn't just end a life. It turned a street corner into a global war zone.
It really did. And that's what we're diving into today, the deeply conflicting sources around the shooting of Renee Nicole Good. I mean, it's an incredible story. One day, she's a 37-year-old local poet, a mom, known only by her community.
And the next.
The next, her name is everywhere. It's the face of a movement, trending on every screen. It's being shouted in protests across the world.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really walk you through the evidence. We have government reports, we have leaked video, community testimony.
All of it swirling around this one event on January 7th, 2026.
And the central question is, how? How does this happen? How does a quiet woman become this massive overnight symbol?
Well, you have to start with the two narratives, because they couldn't be more different. On one hand, you have the official government channels.
They label her a domestic terrorist.
Right, an attacker. But then you have her neighbors, the protesters, the leaked footage. They're calling her a martyr, an innocent civilian.
Somewhere between those two extremes, we have to find what happened.
So let's set the scene.
Okay, yeah. Context is everything here. Where and when did this happen? And what did it feel like on the ground?
The place is Minneapolis, Minnesota. The date is January 7th, 2026. And the atmosphere was brutal.
Brutal how?
I mean, the sources just keep stressing the weather. It was minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Just physically dangerous cold. And on top of that, visibility was near zero, and the roads were basically skating rinks, just solid ice.
So it's an environmental perfect storm. But that was just the backdrop, right? The political situation was just as tense.
That's where it really escalates. The whole city was under what the government called a Code Red lockdown.
And this wasn't like a snow day warning.
No, not at all. The Code Red was directly tied to the new administration's immigration enforcement waves. It was incredibly aggressive.
What did that mean practically?
It meant federal agents, in this case ICE, could set up these hardened checkpoints deep inside the city and operate with way less oversight than, say, local police would have.
So if you live there, seeing this checkpoint wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a threat.
A very real, very immediate threat. And that brings us right to the location, an ICE checkpoint fully established on Lake Street.
A flashpoint.
It was the physical manifestation of that Code Red policy. And Renee Good, just trying to get home, drove right into it.
Which is where we hit this fundamental contradiction in the sources.
Yeah.
Two completely different stories of what happened when she reached that checkpoint.
Let's start with the official one. I mean, the government had to justify lethal force, and they had to do it fast.
So their report comes out the very next morning.
Right. And it's built entirely around one claim.
That her car accelerated aggressively towards the agent.
Exactly. That's the whole justification. They're saying she used her car as a weapon. If that's true, lethal force is on the table. They were defending themselves from an attack.
So in their version, she's a hostile actor. She fits the domestic terrorist profile they needed.
Perfectly. It justifies the checkpoint. It justifies the Code Red. It justifies the shooting. It's a clean, simple narrative. Agents were attacked. They responded.
But here's the thing that stands out in the analysis. The sources that support the government's side.
Yeah.
Did they have any other evidence? Like, was she radicalized? Was there any prep for an attack?
None. They found nothing. And that's a huge omission. Critics point to that and say the official story had to be about her actions at the checkpoint.
Because they had no evidence of hostile intent before she got there.
Exactly. And the lack of that evidence is what made the leak so absolutely devastating for them.
This is where the whole equation changes. Because just hours after that official report drops, a video surfaces.
Leaked on the dark web, so it bypassed all the official channels, all the censors. A bystander's video.
And it tells a completely different story.
Yeah, a very different story. Look, it's not clean footage. It's shaky. It's chaotic. But you don't see an attacker. You see what one source called a terrified woman just trying to maneuver her car.
And when you put that video next to the context, the minus 20 degrees, the icy road, that aggressive acceleration starts to look like something else entirely.
It looks like a panic U-turn.
Right. She's trying to avoid the blockade, not attack it. Her car slides on the ice, she panics, and the agents see that loss of control as an assault.
And that's the question, isn't it? Did they genuinely mistake a skid on the ice for an attack? Or did the whole Code Red mentality just prime them to shoot first?
Either way, the impact of that video was instantaneous. It just blew up the official story.
The narrative battle was lost online almost before it even began.
So that brings us to Renee herself.
Yeah.
Because after the shooting, you get this predictable media scramble. Everyone's digging into her life.
They're looking for the justification, a criminal record, an anti-government blog, a manifesto.
Anything to make it make sense, to make her a bad guy. It's easier for people to accept, psychologically, if the victim wasn't, innocent.
But the investigation comes back. And what it paints is this picture of the two Renees. The terrorist the government described and the person she actually was.
And the most powerful evidence against their story was just the stuff in her car.
It's the sheer devastating ordinariness of it all.
So what did they find? She was a mom trying to get home to her 3 kids.
In the trunk, they found groceries, bags of food for her family.
And on the passenger seat,
Not a gun, not a bomb, a notebook.
a notebook full of her poetry.
That's the image that went global. A mother killed with a car full of groceries and poems. She wasn't preparing for a battle, she was preparing for dinner.
She wasn't a radical. She was just a person.
An ordinary person caught in this extraordinary, politically charged situation. And that fact, that vulnerability, is why the protest just exploded.
It wasn't about a political figure being assassinated.
No. People were terrified because she was so ordinary. The thought that gripped everyone, you see it in the source material again and again, was, if it could happen to Renee...
It could happen to anyone.
Yes. Her complete lack of a threat profile is what made her the perfect symbol of state overreach.
And then that local tragedy, it very quickly becomes a spark for a much, much bigger conversation about global inequality.
Oh, absolutely. The timing, you just couldn't make it up. It's what analysts are already calling the let them eat cake moment of 2026.
Right. So while Renee's body is being recovered from an icy street in Minneapolis,
Oh, the city is starting to burn.
4,000 miles away in Crans-Montana, Switzerland, the world's financial and political elite are holding their annual winter gala.
And then the photos start surfacing.
And the contrast is just sickening.
You have these global leaders, the same people whose policies led to the Code Red, and they're laughing, drinking champagne. They look, as one source put it, completely disconnected from the reality on the ground.
The internet saw that immediately. It wasn't just a shooting anymore. It was...
Renee's blood and their wine.
That became the defining image of the year.
And it pushed the conversation past just police accountability. It became about the massive chasm between the silenced and the protected.
The people who face the consequences versus the people who make the policies from a Swiss resort.
Exactly. You have this vulnerable person trying to do the most basic thing, feed her kids, and she's killed. While the architects of the system that killed her are toasting their success.
It gave a face to years of simmering anger about inequality.
It did. The rage wasn't just at the agents who fired the shot anymore. It was aimed at the entire system that put them there.
In the end, Renee Good, she didn't ask to be a martyr.
Not at all.
She just wanted to cross the street. She wanted to get home with her groceries.
But history isn't usually written by people who want fame. It's written by those who are forced to be brave. Those who become symbols, whether they want to or not.
And the consequence is undeniable.
Minneapolis is burning. And the world is watching, finally forced to look at the fire and ask why it started.
So when you strip it all down, when you look at all the sources, the official reports, the leaked video, the context of that morning, it comes down to one question they can't agree on. Was this self-defense a necessary action to protect a checkpoint? Or was the shooting of Renee Nicole Good, as so many voices now allege, state-sanctioned murder? That's the thought we have to leave you with.